Good afternoon, Osceola County. Can you hear me? I can't hear you if you're talking. Not great. All right. Is that Officer Akendo? All right. Good afternoon. Yeah, that mic's terrible, but we'll give this a shot. Yeah, just barely. Thanks, Mr. Rosario. All right, for those of you out in Osceola County, this initial appearances. At initial appearances, I'm going to take a look at the charging affidavit, the reason why you've been arrested, and determine whether there is probable cause for your initial arrest. We're going to talk about getting an attorney on board for you. And after that, we're going to talk about conditions of bond, if any, that will get you back to your lives while these cases are pending that are appropriate. You may disagree with some of the factual allegations in your charging affidavit. Today is not the day for that discussion. It's very unlikely. I'm your trial judge, so you'll need to save that for your trial judge and a discussion with your attorney. First case that I have is Lisa Albin. Do we have... All right, thanks. We'll skip over Miss Albin's case. Andrew Baker. Thanks. Good afternoon, Mr. Baker. Mr. Baker, you were arrested based on an allegation of battery, domestic violence related. I took a look at the charging affidavit. I do find probable cause for your initial arrest. I'm going to set a bond in your case in the amount of $1,000. As a condition of that bond, you are to have no contact whatsoever with the alleged victim in this case, and that would be correct. You're going to have no contact with your wife while this gets sorted out. You're also not going to be allowed to return home until further order of the court. Do you have personal belongings at home? Will allow you to return one time with law enforcement to get your personal belongings. You'll be able to petition a change in the circumstances in front of your trial judge. I will appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent your interests. Thank you. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Officer Akendo. Does he qualify? Right, yeah, I'd like to add, those conditions will be as a result of pretrial release.
So is it $1,000 bond plus pretrial release?
Thomas Bruchert. All right, thanks. I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender, Mr. Bruchert's case. Do you want to waive his appearance, or do you want me to recall him tomorrow? Court's finds probable cause. He has no bond. It appears to be an on-view violation of probation allegation. I do find probable cause to believe he violated his probation in 2019, CF 2219. Thank you.
So bond state, right?
Yep. Okay. Thank you. Good afternoon, Miss Albin. You were arrested based on an allegation that you failed to appear for court. That was in front of me at an arraignment. I issued no bond for that failure to appear. Now that you've been taken into custody, I am going to grant you a bond. In your case, bond as to count 1 is going to be set in the amount of $1,000, as to count 2 in the amount of $1,500. I'm going to assign you court dates and assign the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Your pretrial is going to be on March 24th at 9 o'clock with a trial period that begins April 5th at 9 o'clock in front of me in courtroom 4F. You understand? All right. Thanks. Hey, the contact information we have for you is at Dean Road in Jacksonville. Is that good contact information? Can we do a change of address?
I don't
All right, I've appointed the Office of the Public Defender. Mr. Rosario, if you can get a change of address form or some kind of documentation from her as to her current address, we'll send it that way. Officer Akendo, do you have a good address for her? Okay. All right, Mr. Rosario, if you could take care of that and get that filed, I want to make sure the paperwork gets to Miss Alvin.
Judge, you had 2 counts, I only had 1. You had 2? I only saw
Thought she had
1.
possession and paraphernalia. Let me see. Possession of meth, possession of paraphernalia. She had no bond.
Is it the same case? Because then we had 1 count on the front.
Okay.
Can you just verify?
Mr. Rosario, the clerk here is only showing 1 count on Miss Albin's case. That would be the count 1, possession of methamphetamine. I'm showing that the warrant was issued on 2 counts, possession of methamphetamine and possession of drug paraphernalia. Is that what you guys are reflecting out there?
Ask them what they want you to do. Because I only have the fail to appear on the written promise, the 1 count, so.
Can we check with corrections and see if she's being held on 1 or 2 counts? Thanks. Okay. I just want to make sure that she doesn't get held in there and not be bondable on count 2 if she's in custody on count 2.
And then if it is a count 2, what was count 2's bond?
It was $1,000 is to count 1 and $500 is to count 2. So that's 2 counts.
So you want me to do it as an FTA on written promise for 2 counts, or? What?
Yeah, I want to issue a bond on count 1, the amount of $1,000, and the drug paraphernalia in the amount of $500. And I don't know how the paperwork's going to get drafted up. I just want to make sure she's not sitting there on no bond on count 2.
Okay. I just added it to the court minutes.
Okay. We're going to add it to our court minutes, and hopefully that'll satisfy the jail. And if there's a problem, you can let me know tomorrow, Mr. Rizzo. Thanks. Victor Cleek. Thanks. Mr. Cleek, you were arrested based on an allegation of DUI with property damage and leaving the scene of an accident with property damage. You qualify for pretrial release. You're going to be released to pretrial release with the following conditions. You are to consume no alcohol whatsoever. You're not to drive without a valid driver's license. If I didn't previously announce it, I find probable cause for those allegations and appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent your interests. Thank you. Jose Cato. All right, thank you. I find probable cause for the following allegations in his charging affidavit: possession of a weapon or ammunition by a convicted felon, possession of paraphernalia under 20 grams, possession of cocaine, possession of drug paraphernalia. Bond in count 1 is $4,000. As to count 2, it's $250. As to count 3, it's $1,000. And count 4, it's $500. As a condition of any bond, he will not possess any weapons or firearms. We appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent his interests. Joaquin Diaz. Officer Akendo, does he qualify for PTR? Correct. All right, Mr. Diaz, you were arrested based on an allegation of petty theft. I read the charging affidavit. I do find probable cause for that allegation. Your bond is set in the amount of $250, and I will appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent your interest in the one case, and that would be, where's the case number on this? Case number. This relates to KPD arrest number 21001389. You're also here for the court based on another KPD arrest number 2001-394. That allegation is a warrant arrest in 21MM184. You do have a bond set as to the warrant, and that is set in the amount of $500. As to case number 21CF90, you are here before the court on a warrant arrest. Bond in that case is set count 1 the amount of $500 and count 2 in the amount of $1,000. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent your interest. Jadi Douglas. Good afternoon, Mr. Douglas. Officer Akendo, I didn't get any face sheets from PTR, so I don't know whether he qualifies. If you will let me know as the defendants come up. Thank you. Mr. Douglas, you are before the court based on an allegation of violation of domestic injunction. I've read the charging affidavit, and I do find probable cause for that allegation. Court is going to set a bond in your case. Bond will be set in the amount of $1,000. At this point, you are not to have any contact. As a condition of your bond, with Lakeisha Bounds, as there's an active injunction out of another state. Do you have any personal belongings down here, Mr. Douglas? Yeah, I suspect you're not welcome back at the hotel, but I don't know that for sure. You'll be... Go ahead. Okay. I'll allow you to return one time with law enforcement to get those personal belongings, okay?
You want no return?
And then after that, you can't return to the hotel. All right. You're not allowed to have contact, and I'm going to amend that no return to you may not cohabitate, and it'll be up to the hotel whether they want you to stay or not. The first time you go back, you need to be with law enforcement in case you've been trespassed. I don't know.
You want to maintain separate residences?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've amended to maintain separate residences. PD is appointed. Daquan Dowdy. All right, I will appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent Mr. Dowdy. The court established probable cause. I signed the warrant. Bond in count 1 is set in the amount of none. Count 2 is set in the amount of $500. Bond in count 3 is set in the amount of none. Shall not have any contact with the victim under as a condition of any bond.
Do you want to do not possess any weapons or firearms?
And as a condition of any bond, not to possess any weapons or firearms. Thanks.
I can't.
Thanks, Officer Akendo.
I didn't hear the
We've got
out on bond.
it. We've got one.
Oh, I was just looking up.
All right, I show that he is out on bond in case number 2020 MM2860, an allegation of similar offenses. Court has probable cause to believe he's committed a new violent felony offense while out on bond. Bond in that case will be revoked and set at none. Melissa Dre. I can't hear you, Officer Kendo. Thank you. Mr. A, you were arrested based on an allegation of grand theft auto. I read the charging affidavit. I do find probable cause for that allegation. I'm going to release you on pretrial release. Thank you. And I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender if I didn't previously announce that. Eric Goforth. Good afternoon, Mr. Goforth. Mr. Goforth, you were arrested based on an allegation of domestic battery by strangulation. I have reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find probable cause for the arrest. The court is inclined to set bond in this case. Officer Akendo, with a bond, will he qualify for PTR? Do we have any witnesses present on Mr. Goforth's case? Okay, I'm seeing no... I'm sorry, Officer, can they repeat that, please? Let me take a quick look at the affidavit. Officer Kendo, are we showing any prior criminal history? All right, based on the representations to pretrial release, the court is going to grant a bond in the amount of $500 plus pretrial release conditions. I am, based on the information before the court, going to authorize that he have no hostile contact with the victim in this case. However, they are to maintain separate residences. Mr. Goforth, do you have any personal belongings at that residence? I'll allow you to turn one time with law enforcement to collect some personal belongings till this can get sorted out. You can petition your trial judge for an amendment of the cohabitation order. But without hearing from her, that's going to be the order of the court today. No hostile contact means exactly what it sounds like. Can't put your hands on her without her permission. No getting in anyone's faces. No raised voices. Do you understand, Mr. Goforth? All right. Yep. Office of Public Defender is appointed.
Are you just doing bond only or bond?
Bond plus PTO.
Okay.
Bryce Howard. Good afternoon. Yeah, I didn't say he couldn't return. I said that they have to maintain separate residences. Sure. Mr. Howard, you were arrested based on a failure to appear. Judge Arendas filed a... We're getting some feedback here. Judge Arendas filed a warrant, granted a bond in the amount of $2,999. I've already let Judge Arendas know that you are here in Orange County, and she'll be contacting Orange County if she wants to reconsider that bond. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. Thanks. Christian Lopez Perez. Thank you. Mr. Lopez Perez, I took a look at the charging affidavit. Apparently this was a low-speed fleeing and eluding. You're going to be released, pretrial release on this case. I do find probable cause for your arrest in both the allegation of fleeing and eluding with lights and sirens and operating a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license. As a condition of your pretrial release, you are not to drive a vehicle without a valid driver's license. Do you understand? I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. Thank you. Victor Mejias. And Officer Akindo, I have to apologize. I did get the face sheets on PTR. Thank you. Mr. Mejias, you were arrested based on an allegation of battery domestic violence. I took a look at the charging affidavit. I find probable cause for your arrest. The court is going to set bond in your case. Does Mr. Mejias? Yes. You're going to get a bond in the amount of $500 plus pretrial release conditions. The conditions being you have no contact whatsoever with the alleged victim in this case. And you are not to return to the scene where this occurred, which apparently is a parking lot. All right. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent your interest. Angel Mall. Good afternoon, Mr. Mall. Mr. Mall, you were arrested based on an allegation that you failed to appear in front of Judge Arendas. She issued a no bond warrant for you. I'm inclined to consider a bond. State, do we have a criminal history on Mr. Mall?
No, Your Honor.
Officer Akendo, do you have any criminal history on Mr. Mall? Are we able to give him a court date, or will he just be noticed?
I don't have court dates. I'll fill that out.
Mr. Mall, I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender. Does the Public Defender wish to be heard as to consideration of bond? Do we know what the underlying charge is?
Your Honor, I believe it was driving with a suspended license.
Is it Dwellis? All right. Court's inclined to set bond in the amount of $500. And Mr. Mall. The address that we have is the Meadow Court in Kissimmee address. Is that correct? Is that a house or an apartment? All right, you're going to be noticed of your next court date at that address. So make sure that you don't miss your next court date or Judge Arendis will issue a warrant again for you. All right, thank you. Ronald Randall. Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Randall. Mr. Randall, you were arrested based on an allegation of, looks like, battery on a law enforcement officer or firefighter, possession of marijuana under 20 grams, and resisting an officer without violence. As to the new case, I am going to set bonds. Bond in count 1 will be set in the amount of $2,500. I'm going to lower your bond in count 2 in the amount of $100, and as to count 3 in the amount of $100. Unfortunately, you are also out on bond on a felony allegation in 2020 CF 590. The court's going to find there is probable cause to believe that you committed a new law offense while out on felony bond. I'm going to revoke your bond in that case and set your bond in the amount, I'm sorry, you were out on pretrial release, excuse me. I'm going to revoke your pretrial release, and your bond in that case will be set in the amount of none. I will appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you on both cases. Thank you. Tyler Rawlinson. All right, thank you. Mr. Rawlinson, you were arrested based on an allegation of battery domestic violence related. I read the charging affidavit. I do find probable cause for that allegation. I'm going to grant you a bond in the amount of $500 plus pretrial release. For the time being, you're to have no contact with the alleged victim in this case. And you are not allowed to return to the 6000 West Osceola Parkway address. Do you have personal belongings at that hotel?
I don't believe so, sir. I believe not. I believe that my belongings are in the vehicle with my wife and son.
Okay. Are they on their way back home, or?
I do in our, I have my business office and all my belongings. I have lots of things in my home.
All right, is the victim present? Officer Akindo, have you had contact with the victim? Is there a significant history, Officer Akindo? All right, thank you. I note that the pretrial release information sheet indicates a low risk assessment along with a limited criminal history and a request from the victim to have no hostile contact. The court is going to grant no hostile contact. The court is going to allow the parties to cohabitate as a
Your Honor, thank you very much.
Not done yet, Mr. Rawlinson. As a condition of pretrial release, Mr. Rawlinson is to not consume any alcohol or illegal substances. He is also going to be required to test periodically at his expense through the pretrial release program. State, any other conditions of bond requested?
No, Your Honor, just what has already been stated, just no hostile contact and just test for drugs and alcohol.
All right, thank you.
Do you want the do not return, or you want the do not return to stand?
Yeah, we'll strike the do not return.
Okay.
Public defender is appointed to represent Mr. Rawlinson.
Again, Your Honor, call the back.
Jose Rivera. Thank you, Officer Kendo. Mr. Rivera, good afternoon. You were arrested based on an allegation of DUI and DUI causing property damage. I read the charging affidavit. I do find probable cause for your arrest. I'm going to release you on pretrial release with the special conditions that you not consume any alcohol or illegal substances and that you not drive without a valid driver's license. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent your interest.
Bond stated.
Is that
Bond stated.
PTR?
Okay. On both.
Yep. Freddie Sage. No problem. Good afternoon, Mr. Sage. Mr. Sage, you were arrested based on an allegation of grand theft auto for that skid steer thing. I've read the charging affidavit. I do find probable cause for your initial arrest. I'm going to set bond your case in the amount of $1,000. And I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent your interest. Thanks. Sigfredo Santos. Afternoon, Mr. Santos. Mr. Santos, you were arrested based on an allegation of battery, domestic violence related. I have taken a look at your charging affidavit. I do find probable cause for your initial arrest. I'm going to set bond in your case in the amount of $500 with the following pretrial release conditions. Before I set those conditions, Officer Akendo, has the victim been in contact with your office? Is there any significant criminal history regarding Mr. Santos? So the last criminal history in the year 2000, is that correct? $14. All right, I've read the charging affidavit in this case, and based on the allegations in the charging document, as well as a limited and remote history that does involve some violence, and based on the victim's request, I am going to allow no hostile contact with the victim. Mr. Santos, do you and the victim live together? We show that as up in New York. Do you have a house down here?
Yes.
Okay. You share any children in common? All right, based on the facts alleged in the affidavit, I am going to allow, I'm going to delete the no return as well. So, no hostile contact means exactly what it sounds like, and that has been previously explained. Do you understand, Mr. Santos? All right, thanks. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent Mr. Santos. Correct.
Did it say PTR too?
500 plus PTR. Brian Savage.
I can barely.
Good afternoon, Mr. Savage. Mr. Savage, you were arrested based on an allegation of trespass on property after warning. I read the charging affidavit. There's probable cause for your initial arrest. I'm going to lower your bond to $250 with the special condition that you're not to return to the main gate at Lakeside Resort. Do you have personal belongings there still? All right. Can't go back there, and your bond is set in the amount of $250. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent your interests. And Officer Akendo, is he out on some other issue? I'm showing another... Gotcha. I don't know if they're going to come get you, Mr. Savage, or whether those are extraditable, but on our case, you have a bond. Thanks. Javian Vasquez Rapino. All right, thanks. Thank you. I don't know how I get the
So it's the white box, and then you have to hit the add and then
Thank you. Different system.
I'm using it for the first time last week.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This is Alan Figueroa, State Certified Spanish Calling Interpreter.
Good afternoon, Mr. Figueroa. Have you been sworn yet this afternoon?
Not yet, Your Honor.
All right. Madam Clerk, if you will swear in the interpreter.
Do you swear to translate from Spanish to English, English to Spanish truthfully in these matters here today?
I do, Alan Figueroa, Certified Spanish Interpreter.
Mr. Vasquez Rapino, good afternoon.
Buenas tardes, señor Vasquez. Good afternoon.
Mr. Vasquez Rapino, do you need an interpreter, or are you comfortable with doing this in English?
Señor, ¿necesita intérprete o lo puedo hacer en inglés? It's better in Spanish so I can understand better.
No problem. You were arrested based on an allegation of fleeing or attempting to elude a law enforcement officer with lights and sirens activated.
Usted está siendo acusado de huir para tratar de eludir a un oficial de la ley cuando tenía la sirena y las luces encendidas.
Operating a motor vehicle without a valid license.
Conducir un vehículo sin licencia válida.
And reckless driving.
Y por conducir de manera temeraria.
I find probable cause for those allegations.
Determino que existen indicios de criminalidad para los cargos.
Your bond in count one is set in the amount of $2,500.
En el primer cargo se fijará la fianza de $2,500.
The bond in count two, well, Officer Akendo, he qualifies for PTR?
Licenciado, ¿dónde los requisitos para la libertad provisional? Sí, su señoría.
Mr. Vasquez Rapino, the court is going to release you on pretrial release.
Bien, señor, se le emitirá la libertad provisional.
As a special condition of pretrial release, you are not to operate a motorcycle without a valid driver's license.
Como condición especial de su libertad provisional, se le prohíbe conducir en una motocicleta a menos que tenga una licencia.
You're not to operate any motor vehicle without a valid driver's license.
No puede conducir ningún vehículo motor a menos que tenga una licencia válida.
And I will appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent your interests.
Y se le designará la oficina del defensor público para que lo represente.
Thank you, sir.
Gracias.
All counts, right? Okay. duplicate affidavits,
Yeah.
but we don't know what the change is.
I got his packet.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. But they said the same thing, but they said it was a change, so we didn't know.
All right, I see Mr. Santoro's case, John Santoro. Mr. Figueroa, I think that's all we have for you right now.
Not a problem. Thank you.
Mr. Santoro, I think that you have two separate issues before the court. One is a new allegation of grand theft auto. I read the charging affidavit. Nope. Wrong case. Hold on just a sec.
I think it might be a.
No, it is a grand theft auto allegation. That's for something alleged to have happened on February 19, 2021. I do find probable cause for that allegation and will set bond in the amount of $2,500.
Is that? I thought that was Walden. What are we doing?
Yes. Does he qualify for PTR? On what case? Is that 2020 CF
Oh, I see it.
8108? All right, we also have a new issue of driving while license suspended or revoked. I got this case packet twice, but it looks to be identical. All right. I'm going to set bond the amount of $250 as to driving while license revoked or suspended.
Which charge are they going to use? Is it annoyingly or is it the DRLS equivalent?
This apparently is a violation of 322.34 subsection 2A.
Which application?
They're the same. They're exactly the same. Doesn't matter which one. Unfortunately, you are also out on bond on a felony allegation in 2020 CF 8108 out of Orange County. I have probable cause to believe you committed a new law offense while you were out on bond. I'm going to revoke your bond in that case, set your bond in the amount of none. As to all three cases, the Office of the Public Defender is appointed to represent you. Joshua Walden. I understand the reason for the request and the presumption that may exist. The court has not got a suggestion of incompetence nor a finding of incompetence as to this case, so the request for ROR will be denied. Mr. Walden, you were arrested along with the other gentleman for the skid steer issue. I do find probable cause for the allegation of grand theft auto or motor vehicle. I'm going to lower your bond to the amount of $500. And I will appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent your interests. I'm going to take no issue as to the case in which he's on conditional release.
Can I get the case number? Do you have a case?
Officer Akendo, can you give us that case number?
270? Correct. Thank you.
Thank you. Arthur Glover. All right, thanks. Mr. Glover's got an out-of-county warrant. His bond is set in the amount of $3,000. Office of the Public Defender is appointed while he's here with us. Do I need to appoint you on the out-of-county warrant? I guess I don't, do I? All right, thanks.
So you want to strike it?
I'll strike that order of appointment. David Davis. All right. Mr. Davis, good afternoon. You are here on two cases, 2021 MM 430 and 2021 CF 40470. Appointing the Office of the Public Defender to represent you on those cases. He has requested a waiver of reading, which indicates to me that you know what those charges are. Is that correct? I find probable cause for your arrests in both of those cases, and the Public Defender's Office has been appointed. In 2021 CF 470, your bonds will be set in the amount of $2,500 as to count 1, $2,500 as to count 2, with a special condition that you have no contact with the alleged victim. In 2021 MM 430, your bond is set in the amount of $500. I note that you are also out on bond in 2020 CF 1372. Bond in that case will be revoked. I have probable cause to believe that you committed a new law offense while out on bond. And your bond will be set in the amount of none. I believe you're already represented by the Public Defender on that case. Tyler Welch. Good afternoon, Mr. Welch. Mr. Welch, you were arrested based on an allegation of aggravated assault. I've read and includes the allegation of with a firearm. I've read the charging affidavit. I do find probable cause for that allegation. Bond in count 1 is going to be set in the amount of $5,000. You are not to return as a condition of your bond to the scene where this occurred, and you are to have no contact whatsoever with Anna Dyer. You have personal belongings at that Wauchula address? All right, thanks. Can't go back. I'm sorry, Officer Kendo, I didn't hear that. All right, yeah, the no return, no contact will be as a condition of pretrial release.
So you can
Judge?
pretrial release.
Bond plus pretrial release.
Your Honor, the state would also be requesting no contact with Destiny Spencer.
Right, the court is going to add no contact with Destiny Spencer at this time. And the Office of the Public Defender is appointed on that case as well. That was the last of the Osceola County cases I had on my list. Mr. Rosario, do you have any additional inmates that have not had their case heard? Yes, if PTR was added as to the one count, it would apply to the other. Is that another case or another count? Vasquez.
Oh, Ivana. Yeah, you said it at all PTR.
Both cases?
3 counts. That's not what they said.
We weren't showing the resisting without.
No.
All we
they
got was the
didn't get
traffic
affidavit.
cases.
So they're gonna have to probably put that on for tomorrow because I don't have that paperwork.
Yeah, Madam Clerk here is not showing the resisting without violence allegation. So I can't make a PC determination on that. Yes? Yes. Yes. Yeah, no problem. All right, I don't know what to do about the one gentleman that has a resisting without violence. I don't have an affidavit on him. He's already being released on pretrial release on the other charges. Officer, do you have contact with Officer Kendall out in Osceola County? Or?
I don't, but if I can get the inmate's name, I can try to pull it up in the clerk for you.
I think PTR here was indicating they might be able to help on that one.
Do you have the inmate's first and last name?
I have this first and last name. Javian Vasquez with a Z or an S.
Thank you. Give me one moment.
Officer Kenda, was that filed under a misdemeanor case number? Does it have an MM?
I don't have it. I don't have access to it.
I don't have to do it.
Yeah, we're not showing the resisting without. We're having a difficult time hearing you, Officer Kenda. All right. Osceola County is sending you, Madam Clerk, a affidavit.
And I have to do an order for it as well.
They're printing it out for me right now. Thanks, Madam Clerk. I don't want to be sitting there tonight.
Just give me a minute to put her name on the order
Okay.
for.
All right, you guys stay with me for the time being. I think that'll be our last case. Mr. Boatwright? You have Mr. Thompson.
I do, Judge.
It's going to take us a minute to find Mr. Thompson's case. Can you tell me what the allegation is?
It's a violation of probation. It was originally a felony case. It was pled to a misdemeanor charge of carrying a concealed weapon. He was placed on 12 months of probation, ordered to do court cost, a firearm safety class and 50 hours of community service. He lives in Mississippi. He did not compete. The court costs have been resolved. He has a zero balance with the clerk, which I checked. He didn't do the 50 hours of community service and the firearm safety class according to probation. And Judge Barber sent him a notice, or they sent him a notice to come to court to deal with the. Sorry.
Okay, let me find it.
No problem.
I got to find his paperwork.
Under the felony section.
Be in the felony section.
Yes, Judge.
Thank you very much. This is the affidavit from Mr. Bassage. Thanks. All right, Mr. Boatwright, I found him. And can we call Mr. Thompson, Robert Thompson?
They told me they won't bring him up because he's in.
Your Honor, he is medically restrained.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Do you want to waive his appearance, Mr. Boatwright?
They won't even let me talk to him, so I don't know that I can waive his appearance without even talking to him.
I'm going to reset him if you don't waive his appearance. So, what would you like to do? He's not here, so.
I'll waive his appearance, that's fine.
Okay.
Medical?
Yeah, he's medical. All right. I'll note for the record, Mr. Boatwright is representing Mr. Thompson. Mr. Thompson, there was an allegation of failing to appear. He was arrested based on a warrant. That warrant was from, this is an FTA violation of probation.
They sent him a notice to appear. He didn't show up. He lives in Mississippi. He says he never got the letter, and as a result of that, the judge did a no-bond warrant for it.
All right.
It's a misdemeanor violation of probation. He's been incarcerated since December 8th in Mississippi. He just got here via extradition.
Understood.
The 19th. Like I said, it's 3 technical violations. One of the technicals has been resolved.
Okay.
I feel like 75 days in custody should resolve a misdemeanor violation of probation.
I don't necessarily disagree with you, but I need to get the state's input. State, have you had an opportunity to take a look at Mr. Thompson's situation?
I did, Your Honor. The state is not inclined to make an offer at this moment. I spoke with counsel, and I don't even think he could plead today, correct?
Well, then we'll bring him up.
So
that's the administrative part of it, but
Right.
I don't want him to be held in jail because of some medical issue. That's not.
The state's not inclined to make an offer today. I would just suggest rescheduling, setting it for a VOP status.
He's set on February 25th, Mr. Boatwright. What are you asking the court to do today?
I would ask you to give him a bond. If we could get it worked out, he could come back tomorrow and we could plead it out. The problem just is they won't bring him up. If he could come in on his own, his mom lives in Apopka. She's been the one that's been in contact with me or whatever, and he was here. This is a misdemeanor violation of probation. Right? And it was a notice to appear to start out with. He just didn't get it, so didn't know to show up. Right?
All right. State?
I don't know of any criminal history that...
Your Honor, the state does not object to Your Honor setting a reasonable bond.
All right. I'll set a bond today in Mr. Thompson's case in the amount of $1,000. I'm going to set him for a hearing tomorrow at, 11:30.
Okay, that's fine.
I can't do felony.
You can't do felony?
No. It's on the felony case number. I can't do that.
All right. Madam Clerk's indicating we can't have circuit court in here.
Yeah.
You can't do what?
We can't. Was this he pled to a misdemeanor?
He pled to a misdemeanor, yes. It
But it's
started out
under-
as a circuit court case, but he pled to a misdemeanor. So
Okay, it's still a circuit court case, evidently.
And I
Who's the judge?
Barber,
yes.
I believe. Right.
Yeah. Either one of us.
According to what I printed out, it still has her as the judge.
No, we don't have Judge Barber's calendar, so we don't know. I don't know when to tell your client to return. He's here. It would make sense to have this heard expeditiously before he has to expend the travel resources to come back here.
But if he needs to stay here, his mom lives here, and we could do that. If we could get a hearing set, Monday, Tuesday, whatever, that's fine. I know obviously you don't have Judge Barber's schedule, so I understand that from an administrative perspective, but perhaps if we could reset it for Monday?
I'm not going to put anything on Judge Barber's calendar without asking.
No, not Judge Barber. I'm saying here, for whoever's handling the felony stuff here, Monday afternoon, perhaps, maybe, I don't know.
Is that Judge
Come in
Mann?
person?
Yes.
We will not be able to bring him in person for another.
No, he'll be out on bond. He will come in from the public with me. No, you won't need to, it won't have anything to do with corrections.
Understood.
Honestly, I don't know how Latimer does her out of. They probably do have to go through it, but we can try to put it on there for Monday. Right now, it's set for her 225. I didn't see anything. Any dates for Monday.
Based on the representation that this is a misdemeanor allegation of violation of probation on technicals, he's unable to attend IA and his appointed counsel is present. The court is inclined to grant a bond in the amount of $1,000. The special condition that he possess no firearms or weapons. But can you generate court minutes?
only the initial appearance minutes
Okay.
that I have.
Okay, so we'll be able to generate minutes indicating that he's now bondable, $1,000 bond,
Yeah.
possession of weapons or firearms. I'm going to make a note, and I will contact Judge Barber and ask her judicial assistant to reach out to you and schedule you for a hearing as soon as possible.
Okay, that's fine, Judge. Or if you want, I'll call her on Monday, but no problem.
Okay, let me make some notes here. All right, I've made those notes. And we'll generate some court minutes for you, Mr. Boatright.
Okay, great.
All right.
Thank you, Judge.
Yes, sir.
May I be excused one
Yes,
second?
of course.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. Mr. Rosario, Officer Kendo. All right, thanks. I have an affidavit on Mr. Vasquez Rapino's case. This is
See what?
This will just roll right into Orange County interpreter cases afterward. We'll have interpreter cases on the top.
Yes. Yes.
The Spanish interpreter is back on the line, Your Honor.
Few cases are. So you want to take them down?
I'm going to take them right after this one since we got the interpreter ready to go. Corrections, I'm going to take the Orange County interpreter cases right after this one.
Thank you, Judge.
Do we have an interpreter with us?
Yes, Your Honor. The Spanish interpreter is back on the line.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Interpreter. We have Mr. Vasquez Rapino back at the podium. Mr. Vasquez Rapino, you had a separate case that was an allegation of resisting an officer without violence.
Señor Vázquez Rapino tiene otro caso por una acusación de desobediencia a la autoridad.
I find probable cause for that allegation.
Determinó que existen indicios de criminalidad para esa acusación.
You'll be released to pretrial release,
Se le otorgará la libertad provisional
and I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you on that case.
y se le designará al defensor público para que lo represente.
Do you have the case number, ma'am?
It's a new.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, I think that should do it for Osceola County, correct? Thank you. Mr. Interpreter, can you stick with us for our Orange County interpreter cases?
Of course, Your Honor. I'll dial into the podium to connect to the defendants.
All right, thank you. And do we move the equipment so I can see them?
They will.
People scream this for people.
Just make sure they don't have any issues. Yes. Why are you so, I'm trying to prevent it from.
Yeah, I know, me too. That would be bad.
I think I would have a panic attack.
Good afternoon, sir. Please tell me your name.
Sergio Hugo Quesada.
All right, thank you. Do you need the assistance of an interpreter, Mr. Quezada?
You have one? Yes.
We do. Mr. Interpreter, we have at the podium Mr. Sergio Quezada. Does he need to put on the headphones? Mr. Interpreter, Mr. Quezada has the equipment on.
Sergio Hugo Quesada.
Sergio Hugo Quesada.
Thank you. Mr. Quezada, You were arrested based on an allegation of a violation of 827.03, subsection 2, subsection A, subsection 1. Are you requesting the services of the Public Defender's Office?
Yes, please.
Does he qualify for the services of the Public Defender's Office?
Should be a form on the back. No, he probably didn't fill one out. So I don't know if you want to just appoint him by the court and move forward and then just
Based on his incarceration, I am going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender at this time to represent his interests. Ms. Cunningham, waiver of reading, or do you want me to?
Yes, Your Honor, we would request a waiver of reading at this time.
All right, thank you. Mr. Quezada, your newly appointed attorney has requested a waiver of your reading of the charges. That indicates to me that you know what the allegations against you are. Is that correct?
Correct.
You were arrested by warrant. I was the judge that signed the warrant finding probable cause. Your bond in this case is set in the amount of $3,500. You may have no contact whatsoever with the alleged victim in this case, except for contact that is recommended by the Department of Children and Families. Thank you, Mr. Quezada. No contact, except authorized by the Department of Children. That'll conclude our hearing. Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, I have this as a probable cause arrest for Sergio
Yes.
Zero. It's a probable cause. I heard you state a warrant. Just to clarify, it was a probable cause, correct?
No, there was a warrant signed by me yesterday.
He's incarcerated on probable cause.
Okay, let me take a look.
maybe it's coming from Hot Road. Like a warrant, like what we said.
Charging affidavit's February 18th and indicates that, it was a search warrant. Okay, this was, you were arrested based on probable cause. I do find probable cause for your arrest based on the allegations in the charging affidavit. Your bond is still set at $3,500 with the conditions previously announced. Sorry about that.
Thank you, Judge.
You don't want to go return or anything, right?
Right, that's going to conclude our hearing this morning, or this afternoon. Thank you, sir. Jose Ulloa. Mr. Interpreter, this is Jose Ulloa. He has the equipment on. Case number is 2021 CF 2120. Good afternoon. You are Jose Ulloa.
Yes.
Court is appointing the Office of the Public Defender.
Your Honor, at this time, we'd ask for a waiver of reading.
Sir, your newly appointed attorney is requesting a waiver of the reading of charges, which indicates to me that you are aware of what those charges are. Is that correct?
Yes.
I note that we have a witness on this case. I have read the charging affidavit, and I do find probable cause for your initial arrest. Your name, please?
Nitza Ulloa.
All right, and you are mom, correct?
Yes, I'm his wife and I'm the victim's mom.
All right, thank you. At this hearing, I will be considering issues of bond and issues of contact. Do you wish to provide any testimony?
Yes, please.
All right, we're going to swear you in.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. He's been terrorizing our family and my daughter, and I don't even know for how many years, and I do not think that he deserves to be anywhere near any of us, not even in this country. He needs to be sent back home, and my daughter needs justice.
Thank you. Does the state of Florida have any questions for this witness?
No, Your Honor.
Madam Assistant Public Defender, any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ma'am, thank you for coming to court and giving us that information. Mr. Ulloa, I have read the charging affidavit. I do find probable cause for the allegations as to counts 1 through 10. Your bond will be set in the amount of none. You're to have no contact with the minor child. And that will conclude our hearing. Thank you.
On stage.
Next case that we have is Carolina Montano. Good afternoon, Ms. Montano.
Good afternoon.
Ms. Montano, you were arrested based on an allegation of battery, domestic violence related. I read the charging affidavit. I do find probable cause for your initial arrest. I note that we have a witness present today. Sir, your name, please?
Diego Hernandez.
Mr. Fernandez?
Diego.
Thank you. Sir, we're going to place you under oath.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez, I am here to make determinations on bond conditions and contact provisions. Do you wish to provide the court with some information regarding those issues?
Oh, in Spanish, I'm sorry.
I'm having a difficult time hearing you, sir. I know this is
I can understand completely, so.
Your Honor, the interpreter will
En español.
do it over the loudspeaker so I can interpret for the witness.
All right, thank you.
Bien, señor, el juez estará tomando su opinión para establecer las condiciones de libertad y fianza si se otorgará alguna. ¿Tiene usted algo que opinar?
Pues en este momento lo único que digo es que yo quiero que ella esté en mi casa para atrás y que yo quiero buscar ayuda profesional para salvar el matrimonio.
The only thing I wanted to say right now is that I want her back home and that I want to be able to get some professional help so we can resolve this marriage.
Are there minor children at home, sir?
¿Hay hijos menores en la casa, señor?
La hija mía de 15 años.
My 15-year-old daughter.
Have there ever been any issues of violence or concern of violence regarding the children?
¿Alguna vez ha habido algún índice de violencia, alguna preocupación o inquietud de violencia hacia los niños?
No.
No.
If Ms. Montano was allowed to return home, do you have any fear of further violence from yourself or with the children?
Si a la señorita Montana se le permitiera regresar a la casa, ¿tendría usted algún tipo de temor con respecto a violencia hacia usted o hacia algún menor?
No.
No.
State, do you have any questions for this witness?
Just briefly, Your Honor, has there been previous incidents of violence?
Fiscalía, una pregunta para el testigo, una sola. ¿Alguna vez en el pasado ha habido algún indicio de violencia?
No lo entendí, no lo escuché bien, perdón.
¿Alguna vez en el pasado ha habido algún incidente de violencia?
No.
Nunca. No.
And are you willing to call 911 if anything were to happen in the future?
¿Y estaría usted dispuesto a llamar al 911 si algo ocurre en el futuro?
Pues sí.
Yes.
No further questions.
No
Thank
tengo
you.
más preguntas.
She qualifies
Cunningham,
for
any
PTR.
questions?
No questions from the defense, Your Honor.
La defensa no tiene preguntas.
She qualifies for PTR, Judge.
Ella reúne los requisitos para la libertad provisional.
Thank you, sir, for your testimony today, and thank you for coming to court.
Gracias, señor, por su testimonio y por estar aquí presente hoy.
Okay.
Ms. Montano, the court is going to release you on a $100 bond plus pretrial release conditions.
Señorita Montano, se le emitirá una fianza de $100 más las condiciones de libertad provisional.
The condition of pretrial release is that you are to have no hostile contact with your husband.
Como condición de su libertad provisional se le prohíbe el contacto hostil con su esposo,
Or, if not your husband, your partner, Diego Hernandez.
si no es su esposo, pues su pareja, Diego Hernández.
You will be allowed to cohabitate and live together.
Se les permitirá convivir.
As a standard condition of pretrial release, you are to possess no weapons or firearms.
Como condición estándar de la libertad provisional se le prohíbe la tenencia de ningún tipo de arma.
State, any other requested conditions of bond?
No, Your Honor.
¿Algo más que pedir? Fiscalía, no, su señoría.
All right.
Your Honor, is the public defender appointed?
I will appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent Ms. Montano's interests.
Y se le asignará a la oficina del defensor público para que la represente.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Rivera Pena. Good afternoon, Mr. Rivera Pena.
Buenas tardes, señor Rivera Peña.
Mr. Rivera Pena, can you hear the interpreter?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera Pena, you are before the court on two allegations. One is threatening a public servant. I have read the charging affidavit, and I do find probable cause for that allegation in 2021 CF 2107. Your bond in that case will be set in the amount of $1,000. You are also charged with DUI, with property damage, and leaving the scene of a crash with property damage. As to the DUI allegation, I do find probable cause, and your bond will be set in the amount of $1,000. As to leaving the scene of a crash with property damage, I find probable cause for that allegation, and your bond will be set in the amount of $500. I will appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent your interests. Thank you, sir. Mendez Ruiz. Sir?
Bonded, Judge.
Thank you. Mr. Dent, do you need the services of an interpreter?
No.
Yes, no? All right. Is that the last of the interpreter cases we have? I can't hear a thing.
Yes, Judge.
He needs the interpreter.
No, Your Honor, that was the last of the interpreter cases,
Thank you.
Judge.
Mr. Figueroa, thank you very much for your help.
Not a problem. Thank you.
Sir, you are Mr. Dent?
Yes.
All right, thanks. Mr. Dent, you are here based on an allegation of criminal mischief. I read the charging affidavit. I do find probable cause for that allegation. Bond is set in the amount of $1,000, and I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent your interests. Madam Pretrial Release Officer, I have another list of cases on the charges.
Yes, Judge. He's been incarcerated since February 12th. However, this is the only case that he hasn't been heard on. This was an add-on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. All right, so that'll do it for us. Thanks. Yes, sir?
Get my bond unrevoked this one charge.
I'm having a tough time hearing you, Mr. Dent.
I had a bond revoked and I wanted to talk about getting my bond back.
Yeah, that wasn't my decision. You're going to have to go in front of your trial judge to make that determination. I just granted you a bond on this new case. But I'm not sure which case your bond was revoked on. You'll need to go in front of your trial judge and have that discussion. Stay in contact with your attorney and I'll let you know how to do that, okay?
Okay, you know if I could get a motion to release from my lawyer?
Yeah, I can't help you with that, and I can't give you legal advice, but you'll need to talk to your attorney. I understand it's frustrating waiting for information, but I don't have any additional information for you this morning. Prince Oxenat?
Your Honor, there was a refuse.
Okay. Right, is he already a client of the Public Defender's Office? Miss Cunningham? Oxenat?
He refused.
Yeah, I know. OCCENAT, thank you.
One moment, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
He's already a client?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thanks. His new offense is 2021 CF 2109. I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent him on that case. Do you wish to waive his appearance, or you want me to recall him tomorrow?
Your Honor, we'd like to waive his appearance at this time.
All right, thanks. I'm going to accept that waiver of his appearance. I read the charging affidavit. Do find probable cause for possessing drug paraphernalia and possessing a controlled substance without a prescription. Bonds in count 1 will be set in the amount of $250 as to count 2 in the amount of $1,000. He unfortunately is out on bond on a number of cases. That being 2021 CF 2021 CF 374A and 2020 MM 8717. As to both of those cases, the court has probable cause to believe he committed a new law offense while he was out on bond. Bond on both of those cases is revoked and set at none. Thank you. You, Mr. Williams?
Also refuse, Your Honor.
Is Mr. Williams a current client of the Office of the Public Defender?
May I have a moment, Your Honor?
Of course.
Your Honor, I'm not seeing any open cases, but he has been a client in the past.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and appoint the Office of the Public Defender in 2021 CF 2096. We're showing he's not represented, and we know he's incarcerated on that case. Do you wish for him to be recalled, or do you wish to waive his appearance?
Your Honor, we'd waive his appearance at this time.
Thank you. Court finds a probable cause for possession of MDMA. Bond in that case will be set in the amount of $500. He unfortunately is out on bond. On another case, that case being 2020 CF 797, he's represented by Attorney Cheek. In that case, the court's going to find probable cause that he has committed a new law offense while out on bond. Going to revoke his bond in that case, set no bond. Thank you. Aparcio? Ernesto Aparcio?
Your Honor, he was restricted.
Okay, is that based on medical?
Medical.
All right, thank you. Court's going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender in 2021 CF 2098. Do you wish to waive his appearance, or would you like me to try and recall him?
We'd waive his appearance, Your Honor.
Accept that waiver. I have read the charging affidavit. I do find probable cause for the initial arrest. Bond in his case is going to be set in the amount of $1,000. Does he qualify for pretrial release?
He does, Your Honor.
It's going to be $1,000 with pretrial release conditions that he have no contact with the victim and he not return to the scene where this occurred.
So bond and PTR, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Delgado?
He is also medically restricted.
Right. Court is going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent Mr. Delgado in 2021 CF 1874.
Your Honor, we'd waive his appearance at this time.
Thank you. Court accepts that waiver. I have read the charging affidavit. I do find probable cause for the allegation of aggravated battery on a pregnant person. Court is going to set a bond in the amount of $1,000 with the pretrial release. The pretrial release conditions will be no contact with the victim and no return to the scene. He also has a new trespass case. That is in 2021 MM1230. Court will appoint the Office of the Public Defender on that case as well. Set bond in the amount of $100.
Your Honor, are you only wanting him supervised on the felony case?
Yes, please.
Thank you, Judge.
Jeremy Francis. Good afternoon, Mr. Francis. Mr. Francis, you were arrested based on allegations of false imprisonment, criminal mischief, and battery domestic violence related. Took a look at the charging affidavit. I do find probable cause for, I'm sorry, that was pursuant to a warrant, so a judge has already found probable cause for those allegations. I'm inclined to set bonds in your case. Bond in count 1 is going to be set in the amount of $1,000. Bond in count 2 is going to be set in the amount of $500. Bond in count 3 is going to be set in the amount of $1,500. As a condition of your bond, you are not to have any contact with the alleged victim in this case. And that would be Delaney Tuttle. And do you have personal belongings at the Glen Cove Circle address? Okay. All right. How about, so nothing in apartment 206? All right. Thank you. And I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. Yes. Brandon Kettleson. Thank you. This Kettleson, medically restricted. All right, the court is inclined to appoint the Office of the Public Defender in 2021 CF 2116.
Your Honor, we'd waive his appearance at this time.
Thank you. Court accepts that waiver. I have read the charging affidavit. I do find probable cause for the following allegations: battery, domestic violence by strangulation, a separate instance of battery, domestic violence by strangulation, an allegation of battery, domestic violence, and an allegation of tampering with a witness. To count 1, bond will be set in the amount of $1,500. To count 2, in the amount of $1,500. To count 3, bond will be set in the amount of $500. And as to count 4, bond will be set in the amount of $250 with pretrial release conditions. Those pretrial release conditions being no contact with the alleged victim in this case and no return. Yes, please. Domestic cases, they have not taken us the same time.
Yeah, I just
Marilyn Marquez.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Ms. Marquez. Ms. Marquez, you were arrested based on an allegation of 827.03, subsection 2, subsection A, subsection 1. I'm inclined to appoint at this time the Office of the Public Defender in that case.
Your Honor, we ask for a waiver of reading.
Court accepts that waiver. Ms. Marquez, your newly appointed attorney has requested a waiver of the reading of the charges. That indicates to me that you know what the allegations are against you. Is that correct? Is that a yes? We're recording your responses.
One moment, Your Honor.
Ms. Marquez, did that assist at all?
Sorry?
Did the amplification equipment assist at all, or do you
No, I can hear you better.
You just need me to speak up?
Yes, please.
All right, thank you. Ms. Marquez, I have appointed the Office of the Public Defender to represent your interests at this hearing and moving forward. They have requested a waiver of the reading of the allegations against you, which indicates to me that you are aware of what those allegations are against you. Is that correct?
Yes.
I have reviewed the charging affidavit in this case, and I do find probable cause for the allegation and your subsequent arrest. I am inclined to set a bond in the amount of $3,500. As a condition of your bond, you are not to have any contact with the alleged victim in this case, other than what is recommended by the Department of Children and Families, and you will be contacted with that information. I suspect that you will be informed that you may have supervised contact through the department.
Unless modified by...
Unless modified by the Department of Children and Families. That's going to conclude our hearing this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sydney Patterson? Thank you, officer. Mr. Patterson's case in 2021 CF2071, the court is going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent Mr. Patterson's, I think it's Mr. Patterson's interests.
Your Honor, we waive their appearance at this time.
Court accepts that waiver. I have reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find probable cause for the arrest, counts, battery, domestic violence related, and battery, felony battery. As to count 1, the court will set bond in the amount of $500. As to count 2, I will set bond in the amount of $500. As to both counts, the court will add pretrial release with the special conditions that he have no contact with the victim and not return to the scene. Thank you. Kenneth Correll. Thank you, officer. In 21 MM1240, the court is going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent Mr. Correll's interest.
Your Honor, we waive his appearance at this time.
Court accepts that waiver. Court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find probable cause for the allegation. I note that this is a second allegation, including the same victim pursuant to an arrest in August of 2020. As such, the bond will be somewhat elevated. Bond will be set in the amount of $2,500. As a condition of bond, he is to have no contact whatsoever with the victim and not return to the location where this occurred. Shanice McKenzie?
Yes.
Good afternoon. Ma'am, you were arrested based on an allegation
Yes.
of battery, domestic violence related. I read the charging affidavit. I find probable cause for your initial arrest. I am inclined to grant you a bond in this matter in the amount of $500 plus pretrial release conditions. Those conditions at this time are going to be that you have no contact with the alleged victim in this case, and you are not to return to the location where this occurred. Correct. And I will appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent your interest. Thank you. Gustavo Parra Rodriguez. Thank you, officer. We'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent Mr. Parra Rodriguez in 2021 MM62.
We will waive his appearance at this time.
Court accepts that waiver of appearance. I have read the charging affidavit. I do find probable cause for the allegation of battery, domestic violence related. The court will set a bond in the amount of $500 plus pretrial release conditions. With those conditions, do we have a witness in that case? No. With the special conditions that he have no contact whatsoever with the victim and not return to the scene. Jocelyn Pollock.
Jocelyn Pollock.
Good afternoon, Ms. Pollock.
Good afternoon.
Ms. Pollock, you were arrested based on an allegation of battery, domestic violence, and resisting an officer without violence. I do find probable cause for your initial arrest. I note that we have a witness that is present. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We're going to place you under oath.
Please raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
During this hearing, I am considering conditions of bond and whether contact is appropriate in this case. Can you tell me your name, please?
My name is Jocelyn Pollock.
All right, thank you. And you are the alleged victim in this case, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Do you wish for me to have any information about conditions of bond or whether you wish to have contact?
Yes, I would love to have contact because that's my sister. She's like my mom, and like I haven't been nowhere.
I'm having a kind of a difficult time hearing you, and that's kind of a directional microphone, so feel free to grab that microphone and get it close to your face if you can.
I was saying, yes, I wish to have contact because that's like my mom right there. I haven't been nowhere. I don't have no shelter. Like, I need my sister. And, like, I don't even know why it was a charge on her because I didn't press any charges nor wrote a statement.
All right, thank you. If the court were to consider allowing Ms. Pollock to come back to the house, do you have any fear of further violence?
Never. I would never feel like that.
Do you have a way to contact law enforcement? Do you have a cell phone?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Have there been any instances of violence in the past?
Never.
Any minor children in the home?
No. No.
State, do you have any questions of Ms. Pollock?
No, Your Honor.
Defense?
No questions, Your Honor.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Your Honor, may I have a moment?
Yes, of course.
Has a public defender been appointed to this case?
I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent Ms. Pollock.
Your Honor, the defense would ask if the court would be inclined to release Ms. Pollock on ROR. As we just heard from the alleged victim, she did state that this is like her mother. She does help with shelter. It is very important that she be out and be able to help and make sure that everyone is taken care of.
I understand that request. I do note some prior convictions alleging battery and a prior allegation of DV that was dropped, so I'm not going to consider that. Let me take a look. Last conviction was for battery, touch, or strike, and there was a juvenile conviction for battery, domestic violence related. Not inclined to release her on ROR, but I will set a nominal bond in the amount of $250 plus pretrial release conditions. Ms. Pollock, you're to have no hostile contact based on the testimony of the alleged victim today. No hostile contact means you guys can't fight, you can't yell at each other, you can't get in her face, and you obviously can't put your hands on her. And you will be allowed to cohabitate. You understand?
Yes.
All right.
Judge, what was the bond on count 2?
As to count 2, me take a look.
Excuse me. Can I ask a question?
I'm not sure I have a charging affidavit on count 2.
Your Honor, it appears to be under the same case number.
I see that. Let me see if... Okay, it's in the second paragraph. I'm going to set bond the amount of $100 just to count 2.
Thank you, Judge.
Excuse me, how much you said?
Does she qualify for straight PTR on
Yes,
count 2?
Judge.
Hold on just a sec. I'm gonna delete the monetary bond. You'll be released on straight pretrial release on count 2. $250 in pretrial release.
Your Honor, since it's the same case number, so are you RORing her on the second count?
She can't just go to straight PTR on count 2 and bond and PTR
I
on
think
count
they can
1?
do that. Yes, Judge.
Is that too complicated?
No, Judge. No, Your Honor.
So you just want straight PTR on count 2?
Yes.
And then bond and PTR on count 1?
Yes, because I don't think I can straight PTR on count 1, correct?
You can, Judge. Under Orange County's administrative order, you can straight PTR battery charges.
I wonder why I was confusing Madam Clerk, because we're not allowed to do that in...
And now
I know.
Emails from Osceola. I gotta reread the email.
Okay. All right.
It's your discretion, Your Honor.
PTR?
Good to know moving forward. Yeah, on this case, I'm going to amend the bond. No bond, I'll delete the bond on count 1, straight PTR, both counts.
Thank you, Judge.
Your Honor, I just wanted to understand, so she's being released on pretrial release?
Correct.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You, Mr. Rowe?
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, Mr. Rowe. Mr. Rowe, you were arrested based on an allegation of battery domestic violence. I have taken a look at the charging affidavit. I do find probable cause for your initial arrest. I'm going to set a bond in the amount of $500 as to this allegation, plus the conditions at this point that you have no contact with your son and not return to the location on Edenshire Circle until this gets sorted out. Do you have personal belongings there, Mr. Rowe? You have personal belongings on Edenshire? Is that your house?
Home.
And your son lives there?
Yes, he lives with me.
All right. For right now, you're going to be allowed to return one time with law enforcement, get some personal belongings. You can petition your trial court, or your trial judge, to amend the conditions of the bond.
He lives with me.
How old is he?
He's 19. And he's on probation right now for another offense where he actually...
He didn't qualify for PTR,
I don't know
right?
what to say. He did.
Judge, we weren't able to verify any of his information. He didn't provide us with any emergency contacts, and the number that was provided by law enforcement for the victim is not accepting calls, so we were unable to verify any community ties for him.
I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent your interests, Mr. Rowe. I don't have any information from the victim, and as such, I'm not going to authorize contact. So you're not going to be able to go back there except one time to get some personal belongings until this gets sorted out. Your new attorney will be able to get you in front of your judge and request that judge, if he's going to move out or whatever, to amend the conditions of bond. But for right now, it's no contact, no return. And
one-time return, right?
Yep. All right. Thanks, Mr. Rowe. Sorry, I can't be more helpful than that.
That's okay.
I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender. Osceola sending me?
Yeah.
Derek Smith? Thanks, Officer. I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent Mr. Smith, 2021 MM1234.
We'd waive his appearance at this time, Your Honor.
Did she say this? Wait.
He is restricted. I'll accept that waiver of his appearance. I have read the charging affidavit. I do find probable cause for the allegation of battery, domestic violence related. The court's inclined to release him on pretrial release based on his low risk assessment results. As a condition of his pretrial release, he's to have no contact with the victim and not return to the scene.
Your Honor?
Yes.
Can we have a one-time return with law enforcement if needed?
Yes. He may return one time with law enforcement if he needs to get some personal belongings. Anthony Tompkins. Thank you. Court's going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent Mr. Tompkins on 2019 MM 8202.
Your Honor, we waive his appearance at this time.
Court accepts that waiver. I have reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find probable cause for the allegation. I note that his Florida arrest history indicates a domestic violence allegation twice before on the same victim. Bond will be raised to the amount of $2,500. As a condition of that bond, he is not to have any contact with the victim and not to return to the location.
He has a private attorney already in contact.
Okay, as to count 2, bond will be set. This was an arrest by warrant. As to count 2, it appears that that is a straight battery allegation, so bond will be set in the amount of $500 as to that case.
And he has a private attorney on this case already, so do you still want to appoint the temporarily to wait?
Yeah, I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender provisionally. He may have an outside counsel, but since he's not able to join us today and is medically restricted, I want to make sure that he has representation while he's here.
And do you want to keep the do not possess any weapons or firearms?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Thank you. Ms. Waite?
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Ms. Waite, you were arrested based on an allegation of battery, domestic violence related. I read the charging affidavit. I do find probable cause for your initial arrest. I note that we have a witness present. Thank you for your patience, sir. We're going to swear you in.
Okay.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, can you tell me your name?
Sean Aldridge.
Thank you. Mr. Aldridge, you are alleged to be the victim in this case. I am considering conditions of bond and contact provisions. Do you wish to be heard as to that?
Do I wish to be heard?
Yeah. You want to tell me something to consider?
Get her out of here, man. She ain't supposed to be in here.
All right. Okay.
She ain't supposed to be here, man. It was just a big misunderstanding.
That's what
she ain't supposed to be in jail, man.
That's what we're going to be talking about right now.
Bring her home, please.
That's what we're going to be talking about right now. I got some specific questions for you. If she was released and allowed to return home, do you have any fear of further violence?
No, sir. Not at all.
Any children in the home?
Yes.
Okay. How old are the kids?
7, 5, and 3.
Any concerns of any violence or any past violence with respect to the children?
Absolutely not. No.
Do you have a cell phone that you can contact law enforcement if there's a problem?
Do I have one? Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
All right. Thanks. And any instances of past violence between you and Miss Waite?
No, just arguments. Nothing crazy. This is just a misunderstanding, man.
All right. Thank you. State, any questions for the witness?
No, Your Honor.
Defense?
Nothing from the defense.
All right. Thank you. We'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent Miss Waite. I do find, based on the risk assessment results being low and her qualification for pretrial release, that pretrial release is appropriate in this case. I will order that she have no hostile contact with Mr. Aldridge. No hostile contact means exactly what it sounds like. You guys can't argue loud. You can't put your hands on each other. You can't get in each other's faces for the time being. And as a condition of your pretrial release, and any additional requested sanctions from the state?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. All right. You're eligible for release on pretrial release. You should be out today.
Thank you. Is that, may I ask a question?
Of course.
Is that like ROR? Is that what you're saying?
Pretrial release is a little stricter than ROR. You just have to check in with them, and as a condition of your pretrial release, you have to have no hostile contact with Mr. Aldridge.
Not a problem.
All right.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Angel Alvarez. Good afternoon, Mr. Alvarez.
Afternoon.
Mr. Alvarez, you were arrested based on an allegation of violating your pretrial release in a couple cases, 2020 CF 14361 and 2020 CT 7417. Judge Calderon issued no bond for you. Judge Bigney issued no bond for you. I note that you're also out on bonds on a 2021 case, 2021 CF 309. I'm not going to take any action as to that case, but you do have no bond on the two cases that I just cited, and I will appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent your interests. They'll get you in front of Judge Calderon and Judge Bigney to see if they're willing to grant you a bond. Thanks. Mr. Arce?
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, Mr. Arce.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Mr. Arce, you were arrested based on an allegation of petty theft with 2 prior theft convictions and resisting an officer without violence. Allegations are you snatched the bowl from the apartment complex and gave the officer a hard time. Based on, I don't want you to talk about the facts of the case because we're recording you, but based on the allegations in the affidavit, which I have to consider as true if find probable cause, I'm going to lower your bond in count 1 in the amount of $500, and your bond in count 2 will be set in the amount of $500. And I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you.
Your Honor, I would like to confirm that I do not have 2 or 3 thefts. I have 1 theft that was a plea deal that I took that when I went to Santa Rosa in 2009. So that's not no...
Okay. I hear what you're saying, and I don't want to cut you off. You need to listen to the Assistant Public Defender.
I know, Your Honor, but I would like to be all and that's why I'm speaking on my behalf.
All right. I'm sure your public defender is counseling you not to talk about the facts of the case, but I'm certainly
I understand,
happy to hear
Your
you.
Honor, but the facts will help me get released.
I understand.
And if this was the...
Let's swear you in. If you're gonna talk to me about something, I need to swear you in. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'd like the record to reflect that the public defender has advised him not to speak about the facts of his case.
I suspected as much, but certainly can't prevent you from speaking in open court if you wish to talk to me. Sir, what do you want me to know?
Yes, Your Honor. The fact of the matter is that I only have 1 theft, and it was a reduction of a sentence. That was an illegal sentence when I went to Santa Rosa CI in 2009. So,
all right. So you're telling me that the charge of petty theft with 2 prior theft convictions, which elevates it to a felony allegation, is what's incorrect, correct?
Exactly correct, Your Honor.
All right, thanks. I have reduced your bond down to the bond amount that you would have gotten for a misdemeanor petty theft in the amount of $500. And the resisting an officer without violence, I have granted you a bond. And I inadvertently raised that. I'm going to lower that, Madam Clerk, to the $100. I'll stay it at the $100. So your bond is $600, and the Office of the Public Defender is appointed, and that would be the bond that I would have given you if you had a misdemeanor petty theft allegation.
Yes, Your Honor. I understand that, but what I'm trying to clear it is that my mother and my father are dead. I don't have no family. I don't have no support system. And this was illegal, the charge of this theft that you reduced, and it's great that you reduced it, but I don't have the money right now, to get out. So I was hoping and praying that it would be like a regular weekday, and I would have got out right now with RR.
I'm not
when
sure
it was
that you
not
would have got
District
out
9 from
ROR.
Osceola, Your Honor.
But here's what's going to happen.
Because I was in Osceola and they do not give they do not give plea deals on first appearance, but here they do on Monday through Friday.
Okay. All right. I've heard you out. I want you to listen to me, and then that's going to be the end of our discussion.
Yes, Your Honor.
You've got bonds on your case. I understand that those bonds may be more than you can afford based on your testimony. Your attorney's aware of that. They're going to try and get you in front of the trial judge and see if something else can happen. I'm the initial appearance judge, so all I'm going to do today is grant you bonds. I reduce your bonds from what was requested, and that's where we are today. So,
I would like to request an adversary hearing as soon as possible.
all right, you've been appointed
Could
to
you
the
put it
Office
in
of the
record,
Public
please?
Defender, and should they join in that request, they
Yes,
can
I would
file
like
that.
that to go on record. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Is it Mr. Arpahia? Joshua Arpahia?
30 years restricted.
Thank you very much. All right, Mr. Arpahia has a new felony offense allegation in 2021 CF 2097A. Alleges 6 counts. I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent Mr. Arpahia's interest in that case.
We will waive his appearance at this time.
Thank you. Court has reviewed the charging affidavits in that case, and I do find probable cause for the allegations of grand theft, motor vehicle, bond will be set in the amount of $1,000. Possession of methamphetamine, bond will be set in the amount of $150. Possession of heroin, bond will be set in the amount of $150. Resisting an officer without violence, bond will be set in the amount of $100. Possession of drug paraphernalia, bond will be set in the amount of $100. Carrying concealed weapon, bond will be set in the amount of $100. He's also out on bond on 3 cases. 2021 CF 2097, 2020 CF 9211, 2020 CF 14938, 2020 CF 14960. As to those cases, the court has probable cause to believe Mr. Arapia has violated the conditions of his release. Bonds will be revoked. Bonds are revoked. No bond will be granted as to each of these cases. Thank you. Mr. Alt? Thank you, officer. All right. Mr. Alt, as well, was arrested on a new allegation in 2021, CF 2099. The court will appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent his interest in that case.
We'll waive his appearance at this time.
The court accepts that waiver, finds that there is probable cause for his arrest, trafficking in methamphetamines over 28 grams. Bond in that case will be set in the amount of $100,000. I note that he's already out on a trafficking in 28 grams or more of methamphetamine allegation. In 2019, CF 13523. Bonds in that case are revoked. Bond is set in the amount of none. The court has probable cause to believe he's committed a new felony offense while out on bond. Verdecia? Thank you. Mr. Verdecia, in 2021, CF 2103 has been accused of a new law offense of possessing fentanyl and possessing drug paraphernalia. Court finds probable cause, sets bond count 1 in the amount of $1,000, count 2 in the amount of $500, and the Public Defender's Office has previously been appointed. Was that a waiver? Sorry, I didn't ask.
Yes, Your Honor.
Court accepts a waiver of his appearance, and I've made a probable cause determination and granted bonds on those cases. Timothy Capron. Good afternoon, sir. Mr. Capron, you are before the court based on a new law allegation. In 2021, CF 2105, that allegation being possession of cocaine, possession of drug paraphernalia, and resisting an officer without violence. I find probable cause for those allegations. Bond in count 1 will be set in the amount of $1,000. As to count 2 in the amount of $100, as to count 3 in the amount of $100. And I will appoint the Office of the Public Defender on that case. You are also noted to be out on a surety bond on three separate cases, 2020 CF 1334, 2020 CF 13905, and 2020 CF 13882. Court has probable cause to believe that you have committed a new law offense while you are released on bond. As to each of those cases, your bond is revoked. Bond will be set in the amount of none. And I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender on each of those cases if not previously appointed. Thank you. Mohammed Dalholm. Thank you. Mr. Dalholm was arrested based on an allegation in 2021 CF 2094, the allegation being aggravated battery. I have reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find probable cause for the allegation. We'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent his interests.
Your Honor, we'll waive his appearance at this time.
I accept the waiver of appearance. Bond will be set in the reduced to the amount of $1,500 with the special condition that he have no contact with the victim in this case. Robert Day.
He's bonded.
Thank you. Mr. Day bonded out. Christopher Inoveso.
He's restricted.
Thank you. Mr. Inoveso was arrested based on an allegation in 2021 CF 2100, that being trafficking in fentanyl, 4 grams or more, and possessing cocaine. I reviewed the charging affidavit. Do find probable cause for his arrest. He also has a second case in 2021 CF 2102, trafficking in heroin, over 4 grams, and possessing cocaine. I read the charging affidavit and find probable cause for that allegation as well. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender on both cases.
Your Honor, we'll waive his appearance on both cases.
As to both cases, court will accept that waiver. Bond in 2021 CF 2102 count 1 is set in the amount of $100,000. Bond in count 2 is set in the amount of $1,000. Bond in count 1 in 2021 CF 2100 set in the amount of $100,000, and account 2 in the amount of $1,000. Reduced to 1,500 with no contact with the victim. Which one was that? Capron, that was the one we just did? Yeah. Yeah. Capron's got 2. I don't remember doing Mr. Capron. Oh, wait. I missed one of the allegations. He also had a driving license with knowledge. I missed one of Mr. Capron's
That's what it was, I forget.
crimes. Do we still have him, or did he go back?
We don't.
Mr. Capron had another Dwillis.
Oh, Timothy Capron. He probably went back downstairs.
Okay. I appointed the Office of the Public Defender on Mr. Capron's case in 2021. On his other cases, he had another case. That case, Ms. Cunningham, is 2021 CF 2106, driving while license revoked as a habitual traffic offender. I would appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent him on that case as well.
Your Honor, what was that case number?
2021 CF 2106.
Thank you.
Mr. Capron's bonds got revoked on all of his other felony cases, so on this case, I'll set bond the amount of $500 and appoint the Office of the Public Defender.
And yes, Your Honor, and we would waive his appearance as to this case.
Thank you, I appreciate it. I find probable cause on that case. Bakari Hayes.
He is medically restricted.
Thank you. Mr. Hayes was arrested based on an allegation 2021 CF 2086 of aggravated assault with a firearm. I have read the charging affidavit. I do find probable cause for that allegation. Bond will be set in the amount of $5,000 to have no contact with the alleged victim. And not to return to the vacation lodge. Possess no weapons or firearms as a condition of his bond.
Your Honor, is the Public Defender's Office appointed?
Appoint the Office of the Public Defender.
We'll waive his appearance.
Thanks, Ms. Cunningham. Barry Kinsey.
He's also.
All right. Madam Pretrial Release Officer, I have a bunch of cases on Mr. Kinsey. Only two before us today.
I'm sorry, Judge. Could you say that again?
Mr. Kinsey has 4 separate cases on the face sheet.
Yes, Your Honor. He only needs to be heard on 2021 CF 2091 and 2020 CF 002092.
Thank you very much. All right, I have reviewed the charging affidavits in 2021 CF 2091 and 2021 CF 2092. I will appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent Mr. Kinsey's interest on those cases.
Your Honor, we waive his appearance.
Find probable cause for the allegations in 2091, burglary of a conveyance, burglary of a structure, and 2 additional counts of burglary of conveyance. To count 1, bond we set in the amount of $150. Is to count 2 in the amount of $3,500. I'm going to reduce that down to $2,500. Count 3 in the amount of $150 and count 4 in the amount of $150. As to 2021 CF 2092, I find probable cause for all 8 counts. Count 1 being burglary of conveyance, set at $150. I'm going to reduce the bond in count 2 to the amount of $2,500. The remaining counts 3 through 8 will be $150 each. Is not to return to the scene where this occurred as a condition of bond. I'm sorry? Quan? I'm just having a hard time hearing. Next case that I had was Kwun, K-W-U-N.
Oh, we don't have.
Did Mr. Kwun bond out?
I'm checking for you, Your Honor. Can you spell the last name for me, Your Honor?
K-W-U-N. I didn't have a face sheet on him, so he might have bonded out.
Edwin bonded, Your Honor.
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Bonded out?
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. Dontavius Mitchum.
He's a refusal.
Refusal?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Mitchum was arrested in an allegation in 2021 CF 2101. The allegation being possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, possession of firearm or ammunition by a convicted felon, and providing a false identification to a law enforcement officer. I will appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent his interests. Do you wish to waive his appearance, or do you want me to bring him tomorrow?
We'd waive his appearance, Your Honor.
Accept that waiver. Court finds probable cause for the allegations. Bond in count 1 is going to be raised to the amount of $5,000. Bond in count 2 is going to be raised to the amount of $1,000. Bond in count 3 is going to be raised to the amount of $1,000. As a condition of any bond, he is not to possess any weapons or firearms. You must be Miss Moore. Thank you for your patience, Miss Moore.
Yes, I'm sorry.
So thanks for your patience, Ms. Moore. Ms. Moore, you were arrested based on an allegation that you failed to appear.
Yes,
Looks like that was out of Division 12, out of Orange County. You were granted a bond in the amount of $1,000. Your bond will remain at $1,000, and I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. Thanks. Jesus Moriello Lorano.
Your Honor, he's restricted.
Restricted, thank you. He was arrested in 2019, CF 353152, pursuant to a failure to appear warrant. I will appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent his interest. He has a bond amount in the amount of $2,000.
Yes, Your Honor, we waive his appearance.
Thank you. We'll accept that waiver. Ricky Neal. Thank you. Mr. Neal was arrested in 2021, CF 2084, the allegations being burglary of a structure, dealing in stolen property, and grand theft third degree. That was pursuant to a warrant. I will appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent Mr. Neal's interests.
Your Honor, we waive his appearance.
Judge Beamer issued bonds in the amount of $2,500 as to count 1, $1,000 as to count 2, $1,000 as to count 3. Thank you.
No return, no contact.
No return to the scene.
Did you want no contact as well?
Is it a victim crime? Yeah, no just the conditions as announced by Judge Beamer. Quiles Santiago.
Your Honor, he's restricted also.
Thank you. I will appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent Mr. Quiles Santiago in 2021 CF 2070, the allegations being possessing cocaine, possessing drug paraphernalia, and possessing cannabis.
We waive his appearance at this time.
We'll accept that waiver. Bonds are set in the amount of $1,000 as to count 1, $100 as to count 2, $100 as to count 3. I believe he also has a second. Does he have a second case, or has that already been addressed?
He has an additional case, Judge.
Sorry, I think this is it. He also has a second case in 2021, CT 41400. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent his interest in that case as well.
We waive his appearance in that one.
Thank you. We'll accept his waiver of appearance. He is charged with DUI. I read the charging affidavit. It supports a probable cause finding of DUI. Bond in that case will be set in the amount of $500.
Your Honor, he does qualify for pretrial release.
Both cases?
Yes, Your Honor.
I missed it, sorry. Court's going to order that he be released. I'll amend the bond as previously announced. He'll be released, pre-trial release on both cases, 2020 CT 1400 and 2021 CF 2070. Sorry about that.
Your Honor, will there be any special conditions of release?
He's not to possess or consume any alcohol or controlled substances. He's to not drive without a valid driver's license.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Derek Ricketts.
He's also restricted.
Thank you. Mr. Ricketts is before the court on 2014 CF 16819. The allegations being failing to appear. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender in that case.
We'd waive his appearance.
Thank you. Defendant failed to appear for trial on May 19, 2015. That judge issued no bond. He's going to remain on no bond until he can get in front of the trial judge. And I will complete that here. Need about a 3-minute recess, so I'm going to take about a 3-minute recess. Thanks. to, Mr. Thompson? I had to set aside for some reason. It was over there. Okay, sorry about that.
Thank you.
Wait, I'll take work. He set my file over there. So he's been doing paperwork. It's just over there.
Standing there for like 3 hours.
I know.
What is happening?
I appreciate you. Okay, thank you.
Comes with the box, people. If you have the paperwork or whatever, then they'll start doing stuff. Otherwise, they don't wait 3 hours for it to show up at you. Too nice of a day to be here.
The what?
Too nice of a day to be here.
Oh, I know.
Full out there.
I know.
Yesterday, who cares? It's like raining, crappy all day. Today, no. I don't know what tomorrow's supposed to be.
I don't know. I always thought Monday's supposed to be really hot. I mean, not really hot, but it's hot.
Yeah, well, that's normal lately, unfortunately. Not looking forward to going back to that. We have like a couple of days of winter and then it's summer. We don't have spring, we don't have fall. Did you grow up here or did you grow up somewhere else?
No, I was raised in Puerto Rico.
Oh, no, that's good deal. Okay, so you're,
15 years.
I grew up in Ohio and I'm used to,
Yeah.
winter, not that I like that. But fall was nice and spring was nice. It's nice to have a little,
Right.
and it's just like, Christmas isn't Christmas.
Yeah, I know.
When you go to the mall, you see it's like fake snow and like Santa, and it's like, no.
Yeah.
It's like you're shopping for Christmas the day before Christmas, and it's like 85 degrees or whatever. It's real hard to get into the whole drinking hot chocolate. And like, you know what I mean? It's like, no.
Yeah, no.
But my parents still live there. They're getting hammered right now. It's freezing up there.
It's so hot.
And those poor people in Texas. Oh my God.
Appreciate you.
I was really hard. You've heard of Six Flags, right? The amusement park? Why is it called Six Flags?
I have no idea.
Okay. So Six Flags is based out of Texas, the amusement park. And apparently during the entire time of Texas, they've been under Six Flags. At one point they're under the American flag. At one point they were their own sovereign country. They had their own flag. And then they were under the flag of Mexico. And I think they were under the flag of like Spain. I mean, it's crazy. But
That's crazy.
I mean, it makes sense that when you think about it.
They came up with the perfect name.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
You know.
Not that it's good time to be in the amusement park. It'll come back. It'll take a little time. People get comfortable.
Yes. Hey, is this just... No, hey, this is to say. I'm trying to go home. Okay.
Is this normal? This seems low.
It is, I mean, the last time I did it, which was like a year ago, we were here till like 4:30.
Dude, I had to dream her last time. She was like,
Yeah, that's usually how it is.
I'm gonna ask them what time we're starting tomorrow because.
oh, I got someone to cover me tomorrow.
Oh, you did? You're like, I'm not going to this ever.
I have
Do they
trial
know?
on Monday.
Do they know?
Yes, they do. No, I have trial on Monday, so like, I was like, okay, be out of here like 2 o'clock. I'll go, I'll child prep.
What's the trial?
I had DV battery. I'm in DV, so. But
Is the victim coming?
yes, there are 7 witnesses.
Oh,
So I'm like, I gotta prepare.
English though?
Huh?
English? That's the worst, man. Interpreter trials, oh my God.
What
And
is
when
it,
it's multiple interpreter people, oh my God.
Yeah, because I'm in misdemeanor DV, so that's all I do. Okay.
Shoemaker's pretty laid back though. He's pretty easy to deal with. Yeah.
Really?
You know.
I'm a shoemaker
Yeah.
when I was in Cali, yeah.
Sorry, I was trying to call Osceola and you. That's it. Sorry.
All right, we're back on the record. I think. Jimmy Scott.
He is medically restricted.
Thank you. You good to go?
I'm just putting stuff in your mind, because I gotta review it. I feel like
Did I screw something up?
because the verbiage is different. Yeah.
Sorry.
I'll do fine, sign the best.
Okay.
All right, we're Scott, right?
Yes. All right, Mr. Scott was arrested in 2020 CF 12820. Allegation being violation of condition of pretrial release. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent Mr. Scott if they weren't previously appointed.
We'll waive his appearance, Your Honor.
Thank you. Court accepts that waiver. Mr. Scott was issued no bond by Judge Wilson. He'll remain on no bond. Diane Anderson.
We don't have Diane Anderson.
Looking it up now, Your Honor.
It's in medical.
Medical?
Yeah, medical.
All right, thank you. I will appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent Ms. Anderson in 2019 MM 1652.
Your Honor, we'd ask for this to be rolled to tomorrow. I don't have an affidavit for her.
Okay. All right, we'll recall Ms. Anderson's case.
What was her case number, Your Honor?
Case number is 2019 MM 1652. I think she was originally under a Jane Doe.
Yeah, she has
Thank you, Your Honor.
You want to put this one somewhere else?
Was it 41? Your Honor, Diane Anderson?
Yeah.
I apologize. We've skipped a lot of people for not showing up. I was confused. Okay, we would waive her appearance at this time.
All right, thanks.
Not because it was in the
I'm sorry.
That's okay. All right. The clerk's getting out her correction tape, so you can give her just a sec. All right, we'll accept the waiver of her appearance. She was arrested based on an allegation of resisting an officer without violence, failing to appear for a plea and sentence on 10/16/2020. Judge granted a bond. Bond in the amount of $1,000. Cardell Cannon.
Your Honor, he's also.
Thank you. Yes. Mr. Cannon was arrested in 2021 MM 232. The allegation being violation of conditional pretrial release. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent his interest.
We'll waive his appearance at this time.
We'll accept that waiver. Judge Bigney issued a bond in the amount of $2,000. Stacy Santillana?
Yes.
Is that close?
Yes, Santiana.
Santiana. Ms. Santiana, you are before the court based on an allegation that you failed to appear in 2020 MM 591. That was failure to appear alleged to have been for trial on 12/2/2020. Unfortunately, the judge issued no bond. You're going to remain on no bond until you can get in front of the judge and explain things to them, and I will appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent your interest. Thanks. John Anderson.
Bond up, Your Honor.
Thank you. Zachary Cox.
Bond issue, Your Honor.
Thank you. Diego Juarez Perfecto.
Bonded, Judge.
Sean McCaig. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Is it pronounced McKeague or McCaig?
Either way, sir, it's fine with me.
How do you prefer it?
McCaig.
Mr. McKeague, good afternoon. You were arrested based on an allegation of DUI. I have reviewed the affidavit. I do find probable cause for your arrest. I'm going to set bond in the amount of $500. And I will appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent your interest. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
Kevin Rios Torres.
Who is that, Your Honor?
Kevin Rios Torres.
Looking it up now for you, Your Honor. He bonded, Judge.
Bonded?
Yes,
Thank
Your
you.
Honor.
Don St. Louis.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How you doing?
Oh, good. Thanks for asking. You were before the court based on an allegation of driving with a suspended or revoked driver's license and failing to appear in another case, 2020 CT 5565. In the new law offense, the court is going to grant you a bond in that case in the amount of $500. I do find probable cause for your arrest. As to the case that you missed court on, that was an allegation of no valid driver's license. The bond in that case has already been set by your judge in the amount of $500, and I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you on both cases. As a condition of your bond, you're not to drive without a valid driver's license. You understand?
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Armando Koch Cruz. Thank you. Koch Cruz was arrested based on an allegation in 2021 MM1237. We'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent his interest in that case.
We'll waive his appearance, Your Honor.
Court accepts that waiver. Find probable cause for his arrest. The court will reduce bond to the amount of $100 and appoint the Office of Public Defender's already been appointed. Thanks. Edward Gibson.
Your Honor, mental health.
He's medical. I'm sorry.
Mental health.
Mental health, thank you. All right. What do we do now? Do we reset?
Usually we want the PD and then you can ask if she wants to or have a reset.
Okay. All right, the court is inclined to appoint the Office of the Public Defender in 2021 MM63.
We'll waive his appearance, Your Honor.
2021 119.
We'll waive his appearance, Your Honor.
Thank you. I've read the charging affidavit. I do find probable cause for the resisting an officer without violence and a reduced bond to the amount of $250 in that case. He also has an out-of-custody warrant, out-of-county warrant. It's out of Seminole County. His failure to appear for a trespass. Bond in that case is set in the amount of $1,000. can't tell if he's got a third. I think those are the only two issues that he has. And while he's here with us, the Office of the Public Defender will, he's appointed on our case. Thanks. Johan Gonzalez.
Your Honor, he stand for his witness.
Thank you. Mr. Johan Gonzalez was arrested based on an allegation in 2021 MM 1225. I will appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent his interest in that case.
Your Honor, I will waive his appearance.
Accept the waiver of appearance. It's an allegation of battery. Find probable cause. Will set bond the amount of $500 on this case. Mr. Gonzalez also has an out-of-county warrant out of Lake County. That is no bond in 2020 CT 3413. He has that out-of-county warrant in 2020 CT 2789 out of Lake County. That is no bond. And he has a Polk County 20005021 out of Polk County. Bond is set in the amount of $500. Juan Martinez.
Yes, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Mr. Martinez.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Mr. Martinez, you were arrested based on an allegation of battery. I took a look at the charging affidavit. I do find probable cause for that initial allegation. I will appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent your interest at this time. And, let me go back and evaluate that. Based on your sworn responses, you make too much money for the court to consider the appointment of the Public Defender's Office, so you're going to need to talk to some private counsel. There's some good ones in town. I'll set your bond in the amount of $500, and you're to have no contact with the alleged victim in the case. Thanks. Did you not qualify?
Your Honor, we were unable to interview him prior to initial appearance. The court does have the option of sending bond, or if qualifies, if they feel that that's appropriate.
All right.
What are you talking about?
We were talking about Mr. Martinez. PTR didn't have an opportunity. Is Mr. Martinez still here? It's going to be an or PTR. They don't know if he qualifies. Yes, please. Thank you. Hey, Mr. Martinez. The pretrial release program didn't get a chance to talk to you yet, so if you qualify, I'll release you on straight pretrial release. Otherwise, you'll have that $500 bond, okay? So they're going to be coming to talk to you. That may save you the bond money if you qualify. All right, thanks. James Stevens.
Behavior, sir.
Behavior.
That's unfortunate. We're going to reset Mr. Stevens till tomorrow. Are you Mr. Tile Kazivia?
He is mental health.
Mental health? I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent Mr. Tequila Kazivia.
Your Honor, we would waive her appearance at this time, and I also have a probable cause argument.
All right, thank you. When you're ready.
Your Honor, within the four corners of the charging affidavit, we do not see any probable cause for the charge of resisting without violence. It simply states to see a supplemental report that was not given. So based off of the four corners of this document, the Office of the Public Defender would argue that there is no probable cause for the charge of resisting without.
I don't have any information that supports the allegation of resisting an officer without violence. Any additional information, State?
No, Your Honor, the state would just request a 24-hour period so that we can give the officer an opportunity to provide a supplemental report.
I need good cause for the request. I'm going to deny the request. I will set bond in count 1 the amount of $2,000 and RORs to count 2.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Bradley Vaughn.
Yes, sir.
Afternoon, Mr. Vaughn. Mr. Vaughn, you were arrested based on an allegation of possessing cannabis, possessing drug paraphernalia, and soliciting without a permit. I do find probable cause for those allegations. Bond in count 1 will be reduced to the amount of $250. Bond in count 2 will be reduced to the amount of $250. Bond in count 3 will remain at $100. And I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. Thanks.
What about time served?
That's something to talk about with your newly appointed attorney. I appointed the Office of the Public Defender to represent your interests. I guess she'll be talking to you about...
There's no offer. Your Honor, if the state, I would just ask the state if they have an offer.
Sir?
Come on. Why don't you let your attorney talk to the state and see if something can be worked out?
But I'm saying I should be able to work it out today, dude. Oh my God.
I was going to accommodate him, but apparently he can't behave himself. John Watson. Thank you. Court will appoint the Office of the Public Defender in 2021 MM1235.
We'd waive his appearance, Your Honor.
All right. Thanks. Court accepts that waiver. I find probable cause for trespass after warning and possessing alcohol on the streets or sidewalks or alleyway. Count 2 is a county ordinance. I'm inclined to ROR him on that count. As to count 1, trespass on property after warning, bond will be set in the amount of $500. Justin Brown?
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, Mr. Brown.
How you doing?
I'm good, thanks. Mr. Brown, you were before the court based on an allegation in 21 MM257. It's an out-of-county warrant for petty theft. I can't tell what county it's out of. It's out of Osceola County. You do have a bond of $100 with a special condition that you not return to any Walmart. There's also a second case, 21 CF293. That is an out-of-county warrant alleging 2 counts. Count 1 is failure to obey a law enforcement officer's order to stop, and count 2 is driving while license suspended. Bond in count 1 is set in the amount of $5,000 pursuant to the warrant. Count 2 in the amount of $500. Finally, you have a third case in 2017 CF3223.
Yes, Judge, he was heard on that in December.
Okay, you've already been heard on that case. So you're bondable on all your cases, sir. Okay. And I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. What was the guy? What was the lead guy? The guy that wanted to That's all right. Ms. Cunningham, are you going to be with us tomorrow?
I do not believe so, Your Honor.
No?
No.
All right.
I wanted to, but no.
I didn't know whether we should bring back Mr. Vaughn tomorrow, see if somebody could go out and talk to him. If he wishes to resolve his case, we could accomplish that tomorrow.
I can't. You can bring him back, and I can inform the APD that'll be here tomorrow. What's
That's
going
fine.
on?
Yeah, we'll add Mr. Vaughn for the end of the docket tomorrow.
So you want to say his bonds, and then you want to have a set tomorrow as well?
Well, I reduced his bonds, I think.
Yeah.
And then, we'll reset him for tomorrow.
Okay.
Adrian Delgado Reyes.
You want to do a new one?
Thank you. Yes, sir. Mr. Delgado Reyes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
You were arrested based on out-of-county warrants. Let's see. Can't tell from the header sheet where the warrants are out of.
Pinellas, Your Honor.
I think it's just one.
It is.
They usually just send 2 copies.
Gotcha. It's one case. It's 2018 CF 1367. It's a felony allegation out of Pinellas County. Unfortunately, that judge has issued no bond. You're going to remain on no bond with us. We'll notify Pinellas County that you're here and see if anything can be done about your bond. You look puzzled. Do you have a question?
What exactly is the charge? What happened?
There was an allegation, a felony offense allegation in 2018 CF 13670. The allegation is count 1, violation of probation, count 1, felony battery, count 2, possessing cocaine, no bond. The warrant was issued on 2/11/2021. So, looks like a violation of probation allegation. Sean Eisenhart.
Medical, Your Honor.
Thank you.
What was he?
Eisenhart, medically quarantined, I guess. Right, Mr. Eisenhart is with us on an out-of-county warrant in 2020 MM 051016. I don't want to appoint the Office of the Public Defenders. I don't know what to do about him. I guess I'm going to have to reset him. He doesn't have any local charges.
Your Honor, since he's in medical due to COVID, he's not going to be able to come out for another 2 weeks. So
Right.
I don't know.
Is the Public Defender's Office accepting appointment?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent Mr. Eisenhart.
And we'll waive his appearance at this time.
Thank you. He's got an out-of-county warrant for failing to appear in Broward County, and he's got no bond. So I don't know if he's going anywhere, but we'll notify Brevard County that he's here with us.
It's also about an open Orange County case, Your Honor. 2020 MM 4673.
Okay, I didn't see that one on the sheet. I'm sorry, he's out on bond on another case, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
That's 2020 MM 4673. I don't know if the warrant violated his release in that case, so I'm going to take no action as to that one.
No bond on his actual?
He's got a no bond, I thought. Oh, it's showing it's out. Okay. All right. I don't know why I made the note that there was no bond. Apparently he does have a bond in his out-of-county warrant in 2020 MM 51016, and bond is set in the amount of $1,000. My apology. Evelyn Harkins. Thanks. I had a question mark on Ms. Harkins' case. I got a note from Inmate Records Management that there was a date of birth issue on this case. Are we sure that we've got the right Evelyn Harkins?
Look into it, Judge. Give me one moment, please. Yes, Judge, she's been identified by her fingerprints.
Thank you. All right, I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent her interest in 2019 MM 4326. I'm satisfied that she's been identified by fingerprints and is the right person.
Your Honor, we'll waive her appearance.
Thank you. She's here before the court on an out-of-county warrant on 2019 MM 4326. That warrant carries no bond. She'll remain on no bond. She's also here on, is this all the same? I think they identified her by fingerprints is what they said. She's also here on 2019 MM 859 out-of-county warrant. She has no bond. She'll remain on no bond. And the Office of the Public Defender will be appointed on that case as well. You wish to waive?
Yes, Your Honor.
We'll accept that waiver. Thank you. Eugene Holsey?
Yes, sir.
Afternoon, Mr. Holsey.
All right.
All right, Mr. Holsey, you are here with us in two cases, 2016-13375 and 2016-15486. These are warrants out of another county. Try and give you some information. Okay, these are writs of bodily attachment out of Duval County. So I don't know what's going on with Duval County, but
yeah, see, I'm on unemployment, and they gave me my what they call it, they issued a warning in December. I didn't get my first check until January.
Yes, sir.
For unemployment, so they started taking money out, but they wasn't doing it yet because I had to wait for them to accept me for unemployment. So that's what I get now, unemployment.
Okay. I don't know much about your case because it originated out of Duval County. I do note on the writ of bodily attachment there is a purge amount in the amount of $1,500. I'm going to assess that to both counts. So for a total of $1,500, that apparently is what was contemplated by the judge.
I lost my job due.
What's that?
I lost my job due to COVID-19. I filed unemployment. I'm on unemployment as of right now. And unemployment they showed me the percentage they was going to take out for child support. I'm in here for something I'm doing now. I'm paying child support. But unemployment, I had to wait on get my check.
I hear what you're telling me. We're trying to figure out what your purge amount is, so you got the right information to make some decisions with it. So give me just a minute. I show, I guess, the one count, case number 1613375, purge amount of $1,500.
$750.
13375, 13376. That's $1,500.
Your Honor, if I may.
Yep.
There's two writs, Your Honor. One is for $750, the other is for $1,500, with a total of $2,250.
Okay, I'm also showing a third. I think there's a third warrant. Let me take a quick look. They did. Okay. So one purge amount is $1,500. Judge Healy issued that. The other purge amount is $750. Judge Healy's going to be notified that you're here with us on that writ of bodily attachment. And if Judge Healy authorizes us to change that, we can do that from here. Otherwise, we'll ship down to
So I just sit and wait.
Duval. I'm appointing the Office of the Public Defender to represent your interest on this case so we don't lose track of you.
Okay.
Well, that's a writ of bodily attachment. It's not a criminal offense. I don't know if I can appoint. I'm going to withdraw the appointment of the Public Defender's Office. Mr. Holsey, I'm going to contact Judge Healy.
Okay. And they gonna send me back to Jacksonville?
Well, they'll notify Duval County that you're here, and I guess that's up. So they'll notify Duval County. I'm going to call Judge Healy and see whether Judge Healy will authorize the court to do anything about those purge amounts from here. Right. If not, you're going to have to get in front of him.
Okay.
All right. Thanks. Rhett Hopkins.
Your Honor, behavior.
Behavior. We'll reset Mr. Hopkins till tomorrow. Dimitri Jordan.
He is medical history.
Mr. Jordan is before us on a violation of probation allegation out of another county in 2018 CF 2600. Looks like that's out of Osceola County. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent his interests.
Your Honor, we'll waive his appearance at this time.
Accept that waiver. He's on a no bond warrant. He's going to remain on no bond until he can get him over to Orange County. Thank you. Pardon me? Yes. Sarah Trover.
Yes, sir.
Good
Your
afternoon.
May I get this? I have an order from Calderon on the case that she was listed as out on bond for. May?
Yes, please.
He's already aware of the case that she was picked up on, so I closed the detainer regarding the open case for Orange County.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. I was just handed some paperwork. I'm taking a look at it. Give me just a minute. So this is just for the court dates, madam?
Oh, Your Honor, there was a detainer placed for her open case. However, that detainer was closed out due to the fact that Judge Calderon is clearly already aware of her warrant that she was arrested on, as it's reflected on the court document.
Okay. Mr. Trover, you were here before the court based on a out-of-county warrant in 2020 MM 1192. That is a warrant.
It's saying I have a failure to appear, and I have never a failure to appear that I'm aware of.
All right, let me see if I can get you some
I
information.
think there might just be a misprint or something come up.
Apparently there was a pretrial diversion rejection on a petty theft allegation, and there must have been some hearing that...
But they didn't ever inform me of that, so...
Okay, well, you've got a bond on that case, and it's in the amount of $2,000.
Okay, I just got to have the hold lifted up?
I'm sorry?
I said I need to have that hold lifted up so I can bond out?
We're going to talk about that next.
Okay, yes, sir.
All right. So on the misdemeanor case, the failure to appear warrant, you are bondable. Apparently, Judge Calderon knows about the out-of-county warrant and has set you court dates already, and you're placed back on the trial docket. I don't have specific dates for you, though. Are you represented by the public defender in that case?
Yes.
All right. You're ordered
And tomorrow's my daughter's 18th birthday. I really need to be at home for her, please. She turns 18
I'm going
tomorrow.
to take no action on the 2020 CF 12751B case based on Judge Calderon being aware of the out-of-county warrant. So, did you bond out on that case?
Yeah, I got to bond out on this one.
I think what I just said should lift that hold.
Yes, Judge.
All right. So you're bondable on the failure to appear.
Okay. And how do I fix that? Because I didn't know about it.
Well,
like, I don't need that on my record to look like I don't go to court, you know?
Understood. You've got a bond. When you get out, contact the public defender's office, have them start looking into that misdemeanor case number. And then we'll see you in Osceola County.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you so much. You guys have a great day.
You as well. Thanks, Madam Pretrial Release Officer. Melissa Cox.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Ms. Cox, you are with us based on a violation of probation allegation in 2018 CF 8933 and a new law offense of driving while license suspended or revoked.
Yes.
I read the new law offense, and I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you on that case.
Yes,
I do
sir.
find probable cause for your initial arrest. I note that you are I note that you are on probation
Yes.
on the allegation of public assistance fraud.
Yes. And I'm currently paying that as well, trying to pay my license because my son's autistic and his school is in Daytona Beach. And I'm really trying to get him there without just his father doing it.
Was this an on-view, no bond?
Yes, Your Honor.
Right, I do find an on-view violation of probation as there's probable cause to believe you committed a new law offense while you were on probation. I'm going to set a bond in that case.
Yes, sir.
Bond will be set in the amount of $750.
Yes, sir.
You are to continue to report to probation,
Yes, sir.
and you'll be notified as to your violation of probation hearing date, if any, okay?
Okay, because I was told it was, so I won't get it here.
I don't have any dates for you.
Okay.
So I would get out.
To my
I'm going to
office.
have you check into probation by Monday at 2 o'clock,
Yes, sir.
and then they'll explain to you what the next steps are.
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Good luck.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
Did you address her other cases?
I gave her a bond, I thought, in the...
She had a duelist, but I know it's $500.
I gave her a bond of stayed the bond at $500. Yeah. Daquan Davis?
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, Mr. Davis.
Good. How are you, sir?
I'm okay. Thanks for asking. Mr. Davis, you were arrested based on an based on an in-county warrant. Your judge has since moved to Osceola County, but this is an Orange County warrant alleging that you violated probation in 2017, CF 4828. Unfortunately, Judge Young issued no bond. You're going to remain on no bond with us until you can get in front of the judge in Division 14, and I will appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent your interests.
Yes, sir.
Thanks. Charles.